Henry Draper was born on March 7, 1837, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. From a very young age, Henry was curious about the world around him. He loved looking at the stars and wondering what was out there in the sky. The sky seemed so big and full of mysteries, and Henry wanted to know everything about it. Henry's father was a doctor, and his mother came from a family of doctors. But Henry wasn't interested in medicine. He didn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. Instead, he loved science, especially astronomy. Astronomy is the study of stars, planets, and everything in the universe. When Henry was a child, the stars fascinated him. He would spend hours looking up at the night sky, dreaming about space. Henry's parents didn't fully understand his love for astronomy. They thought it was just a hobby, something that would pass. But Henry knew it wasn't just a hobby for him. It was his passion. He wanted to understand the stars, and he wanted to help people learn more about space too. As he grew older, Henry decided to go to college. He went to a place called Harvard University, one of the most famous universities in the world. At Harvard, Henry studied science and learned a lot about astronomy. He read many books, and he spent a lot of time in the university's observatory. An observatory is a special place where people can look at the stars using big telescopes. Henry loved working with telescopes because they allowed him to see the stars up close. After finishing his studies, Henry decided to dedicate his life to studying the stars. He didn't just want to look at them. He wanted to learn about them and discover their secrets. He started working with the best astronomers of his time. One of his big dreams was to photograph the stars. At that time, taking pictures of the stars was very difficult, but Henry was determined. In 1872, Henry took a big step toward making his dream come true. He got a special job at a place called the U.S. Naval Observatory. The observatory had the best tools for studying the stars, and Henry was excited to work there. He began to photograph the stars using a new kind of camera. These photographs were important because they allowed scientists to learn more about stars than ever before. One of Henry's most famous achievements was photographing the star Vega. Vega is one of the brightest stars in the sky, and it has been studied by astronomers for hundreds of years. Before Henry Draper, no one had ever taken a photograph of this star. Henry's photograph of Vega helped scientists learn about the star's color and brightness. It was a huge discovery in the world of astronomy, and it made Henry Draper famous. Henry Draper didn't stop there. He continued to study stars, and he made many other important discoveries. One of his biggest contributions was his work with the star spectrum. A spectrum is a kind of map of the light that comes from a star. By studying the spectrum of light, scientists can learn many things about a star, like its temperature and what it is made of. Henry Draper was one of the first people to study the spectra of stars in detail. He used a special tool called a spectroscope, which allowed him to see the light coming from stars in a way that no one had ever done before. This helped him learn a lot about the star's chemical composition. He discovered that stars are made of many different gases, just like the Earth is. This was an important finding in the field of astronomy. But Henry's work was not easy. The tools he used were not perfect, and sometimes things went wrong. Photographs were hard to take, and it took a long time to get clear pictures of the stars. The science of astronomy was still young, and there were many problems to solve. But Henry Draper never gave up. He worked long hours and kept pushing forward. He believed in the importance of his work, and he knew that one day his discoveries would help people understand the universe better. Sadly, Henry Draper did not live to see all of the changes that his work would bring. He died in 1882, at the age of 44, after a long illness. But even though he was young when he passed away, his discoveries continued to shape the future of astronomy. His photographs of stars and his work with spectra helped future astronomers make many important discoveries. After Henry Draper died, his work was carried on by others. His wife, Caroline, was also an important person in astronomy. She helped continue Henry's work and even made her own contributions. She made sure that Henry's photographs and research were shared with other scientists. Henry's legacy lived on through her and through the scientists who followed in his footsteps. One of the most important things Henry Draper left behind was the idea that studying the stars could help us understand the universe better. He believed that by learning about the stars, we could learn more about Earth and the world we live in. He showed that science could be exciting and full of wonder. His passion for astronomy inspired many other people to look at the stars and dream of what could be. Today, we know much more about the stars than Henry Draper could have imagined. We have powerful telescopes that can see far into space. We have space stations and even robots that can explore other planets. But none of this would have been possible without the hard work of people like Henry Draper. His discoveries paved the way for the great space explorations that came after him. Henry Draper was a pioneer in the world of astronomy. He worked with passion and determination, always seeking to understand the mysteries of the stars. His contributions to science helped shape the way we look at space today. His photographs, his studies of star spectra, and his dedication to learning about the universe were all important steps forward in the field of astronomy. Even though he passed away at a young age, Henry Draper's name is still remembered today. His work continues to inspire scientists and people who love space. Through his discoveries, we now know much more about the stars, and we can continue to look at the sky with wonder and curiosity. Henry Draper's life shows us that with hard work, passion, and a love for learning, we can make important discoveries that change the world. He is a reminder that, no matter how big or small our dreams may seem, we can always work to make them come true. And just like Henry Draper, we can all be part of the journey to understand the stars and the universe around us.